This morning I needed to take a bit of a breather, so I came down the section a bit, and I'm just having a look at some rather unfortunate trees. So this morning's job is to stake the trees. I've just got these cheap pine garden stakes, probably not as long as they should be, but that was what I could get during lockdown. And some of these ties, so there's a bit of stretch in them. And it's really important that you get something that's got some movement like that, because if you're going to be tying up your trees, well, I certainly don't want to be relying on my memory to come back and untie them. So I know that this is also going to break down in the UV. So this will break down a bit, as well as the fact that it will stretch in the wind for now. So let's have a look. Some of the trees there are a bit sad. So this block down here was planted out of cut graftings that I did, and some of them didn't take. So if I come back up here, you can probably see. So down the right hand side, we've got 1, 2, just off this platform here, 3, 4, 5th one, very sad, lying down. And then there's only 1 on the left. Oh, maybe there's 2 on the 3 on the left, down the lower end down there. But this whole gap up here didn't take. So these trees unfortunately didn't survive. But what's happened down here is these were obviously very small when I planted them, and then it was life took over, as it sometimes is inclined to, and I haven't got back to these trees. And as you can see, the next level down, the next level of this orchard is plums and green gages, and the one on the corner is a hazelnut. So, but just talking about the apples for now, what will happen to an apple tree is the top will quite quickly, this one's actually quite a good example, the top will quite quickly outgrow the root structure and become quite top heavy. So this is a really good example of what not to do. So there's the movement in the trunk. The trunk actually is all the way down in there. So there have been a couple of attempts over the last couple of seasons to sort that out, but I need to do that today. And so you really do need to stake your apple trees. Apple trees do tend to get very heavy on top quite quickly, with quite a lot of good growth. And then what happens, of course, is you add the fruit to that, and it makes it even that much more difficult. So I'll show you this one. There's actually still fruit to harvest on this one. It's completely horizontal to the ground, but it's got so there's the roots just in here. Poor tree. I mean, those of you looking at this would be absolutely horrified. So yeah, so we've got movement upward, and I think without any struggle at all, we can get this one nearly upright today with some good staking. So I'll set to, and I'll get these stakes in the ground, and then I'll show you the finished effect. So there'll be this tree will need to be staked up. This one has got a small stake at the base, which is possibly enough for now. And this one, it's the second one, 2 of them, and this one making the 3rd, lying down, so we need to keep them standing up. Okay. Okay, so today's job has been staking these trees. This wasn't just ordinary staking of apple trees. This was rather remedial. They'll have to be completely retrained. There's a couple of apples there still ripening. So I'll put 2 stakes in the ground. I'll put them on the uphill side. And because this tree has sadly been on the ground for some time, supporting it across the bottom there, in a midsection there, and at the top, is going to be important for retraining it over the next couple of seasons. Just needs a bit more support than would normally be the case when you're planting a brand new or very young tree. It's not quite as important. That one's okay. This one here was lying uphill, and I mean the overall direction of the tree has become a little bit more upright, but when I do a bit more pruning later, I'll be able to shape that a bit better. But yes, a bit of sad neglect over a few seasons has meant that some of these trees have ended up horizontal on the ground. So I'll put these 2 stakes on this side. This tree, I just put a couple of supports around it. So in time it will strengthen and the root system will be sufficient to keep it upright. But just the head growth on some apple trees, many apple trees actually, means that they can get very top heavy very quickly. And this one was also lying uphill, so that's why I put 2 stakes on the downhill side, and it will just be holding that and supporting it while it gets established in its new position. So it is important to stake your trees when you first plant them. You can see even today where I've put the stakes in the ground, it's well clear of directly around the roots of the tree. And if there is some minor damage happening there, then it's certainly robust enough to survive that. It is important to stake your trees. So down the right hand side of that apple terrace now, most of those trees have now been staked. And on the left hand side we've got some holes dug, stakes ready. They're ready this time for some new trees. So look, if you enjoyed this video, if you would like to see some more of the orchard, or have a discussion about any techniques or anything, do comment or like below, or subscribe if you want to see some new videos coming out about our orchard. So this is from my garden to yours.